In ETS2, there are map mods. And then there's Rheinland Pfalz, usually known as the RPM map. It became something special, a symbol of what dedication and creativity can achieve when passion fuels your work. But recently, things started to change. Inside the team, turmoil began to grow, and no one on the outside knew why. Updates slowed down, the blistering fire was losing its spark, and to many, it looked like it might be the end of RPM, a quiet collapse of something that was too good to last. And yet, behind the scenes, a much deeper story was unfolding, one of lost trust, betrayal, and the kind of struggle that can tear even the strongest projects apart. And still, they refuse to stop. Now RPM is coming back, version 1.2.4 releases next week, bringing not just new content, but proof that the passion behind this project never truly died. But let me tell you, this comeback was not easy. In fact, we were closer than anyone realized of losing RPM forever. To better understand it all, we're going back to when it all started. June 23rd, 2019, the day the first pieces of the map were created. Back then, there was no Street View in Germany. Only much later it became available in 2022. The team built everything by instinct, creating towns and landscapes they couldn't even see firsthand. The first locations, Munich-Willer and Waldisbach, still exist in the map today. Relics of those early days where imagination filled the gaps, where satellite data didn't exist. As time passed, new tools arrived, Street View became available, and accuracy skyrocketed. The difference is visible even now. Newer areas look almost identical to real life, while the older ones stand as a reminder of where it all began. In those first years, RPM had no custom models. The team relied on outdated tools and help from the other modders. Over time, they built their own assets, forming a visual identity that set RPM apart from everything else in ETS2. For a long time, everything was moving forward. RPM was thriving, celebrated, and growing faster than ever. But with success came the turmoil. You see, success brings a lot of things, but it mostly brings pressure. The more RPM grew, the higher the expectations became. Updates took longer, new features demanded more work, and community, eager, passionate, but often impatient, began to question the silence. What most didn't see was the toll it took on the people behind it. Every stretch of road, every small update came from personal time, nights, weekends, moments stolen from rest. And as Lars, the original founder of the project, told me himself, people don't understand that you're a person. They think you have 10 hours free a day to keep working. They spent over 10,000 hours in ETS2, and 95% of that was not driving, but building. While the community was questioning their pace, blaming burnout, leadership, and even laziness, something far darker was happening behind the scenes. A betrayal was unfolding from within. The very first person meant to help the team, manage, organize, and support, was quietly tearing it apart. That's when the shadow fell over RPM. Like in many good novels, betrayal comes from the person you least expect. For the RPM guys, this was no different. Someone from within, a person they trusted, began working against them. At first, he seemed like a friend. He helped manage the project, maintain the website, handle communication, all the things that kept RPM running smoothly. But over time, cracks began to appear, decisions were questioned, tensions grew, and trust started to fade. Then came the moment no one expected. The truth surfaced. The person they had relied on to take control of the project's website and donations, walking away with what the team spent years building. The result was chaos. The team was split, communication collapsed, many members believing this was the end. But on the inside, something else was happening. The people who started RPM, the ones who built those first towns, those first roads, refused to give up. They began piecing the things back together, even as everything around them seemed lost. And slowly, that shadow began to lift. They regrouped, reorganized, and started walking forward again. After everything that happened, they refused to let the project end here. And now, their work speaks louder than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, next week RPM version 1.2.4 releases, bringing the project back into full force, fully compatible with the ETS2 version 1.56. Besides that, we're getting dynamic loading of metal pipes, support for the Krone Agriculture Equipment Cargo DLC, 2 new companies added in, ground textures improvements across the map, Volvo FH4 and FH5 can now be purchased in the dealerships, and they updated the AI trains. This update did take a bit longer to arrive, but now you know why. So as you explore it next week, remember the people behind it, be kind to each other and fuel the same energy into supporting projects that keep this game alive. Having early access to this version, I can tell you it's nothing short of a masterclass. And as always, until the next time, stay safe on the road and keep on trucking. Cheers.